Shalom. This week's Sedra is Tazria Metzora. In order to properly teach Tazria Metzora, I'd like to tell a story of a woman named Talia. Talia felt it was absurd. She knew if there was a will, there was a way. She had just come from her rabbi's office. She was stuck in a difficult situation in Jewish law, and she was really hoping that her rabbi would be able to help her with a lenient answer. Her rabbi, to her dismay, couldn't and answered stringently, and she was stuck. Her plea to the rabbi that where there's a will, there's got to be a way, somehow to circumvent the system, fell on deaf ears. Rejected, Talia made her way out of the office. To help her cope with her situation, Talia walked down to the kotel. Sitting in the warm sunshine, Talia decided to review this coming week's Torah portion. It always had a calming effect on her. Talia read about the disease of Sedrat, commonly mistranslated as leprosy. Sedrat was a physical skin condition brought about metaphysically by speaking and gossip. In this week's Sedra, God wrote, and pardon me for quoting, "On the day that live flesh appears in it, he shall become tameh." In his commentary on this pasuk, Rashi wrote that the verse could have simply said, "But when live flesh appears." What does God teach us by saying the phrase "on this day"? Obviously, it's on this day. So Rashi explains that this unique phrase comes to teach us that there is a day where the Kohen examines a suspected lesion, and there's a day which he doesn't examine it. And from here, Rashi quoted our rabbis as saying that a groom is exempt from having a lesion examined throughout the 7 days of his marriage festivities, for himself, for his garments, and his house. And similarly, during a festival, people are exempt from having a lesion examined throughout all the days of the festival. This new law draws a number of questions. How can a Kohen simply look away from a person with a lesion that is clearly tzarat? This seems to be a classic case of where there's a will, there's a way to go around halacha. Could it be that the groom during his 7 days of festivity takes precedence over the reality that he spoke gossip? It is difficult to believe that people enjoying the festival is more important than somebody owing up to their bad deeds. Although one might think that the Kohen is allowed to conveniently quote-unquote look away, something more complex is actually occurring in this case. Once he started his 7 days of his wedding celebrations, or a festival, a legal status of simcha takes hold. It's not just a feeling. Simcha is an actual legal status. To uproot his status of joy, a new status must be created. This is especially true of the status of tzarat, which creates a legal reality that mimics the laws of mourning. Mourning and simcha are mutually exclusive. And in the same way, a mourner's day of mourning are suspended or negated for a festival or for a person's own wedding, so too are they for tzarat. It isn't that halacha is allowing for suspension of legal reality. It is dealing in a complicated realm of status. Talia recognized halacha isn't a modern-day legal system, where a sleazy enough lawyer can figure out how to circumvent the system. This was God's mastery, and it had a very specific rules and principles behind it. Talia understood that her rabbi really couldn't just quote-unquote circumvent the system. While she felt troubled by her situation, she was comforted to know that it was truly the reality, and her rabbi had done the right thing. Shabbat Shalom.